been getting a lot of questions lately about lenses. What makes one camera lens different from another one? What the heck do all the numbers mean? A 24 to 105 f4, what the heck is that? Hi, I'm Julie from Ultimate Photo Tips, and to try to answer some of these questions, I'm going to do a little mini-series about lenses. So today is part 1, and today I want to talk about the focal length of the lens. That's the number that you usually hear first when a lens is being described. So if I say a 24 to 105, or if I say a 100 millimeter lens, those numbers are referring to the focal length, measured in millimeters. And the focal length describes the field of view, or the angle of view that the lens has. So is it a wide angle view? That would be any number up to about 35 millimeters. Is it considered a normal lens? Something in the range from about 35 to 70 millimeters. Or is it a telephoto, 80 millimeters and on up, 100, 200, 300 and beyond? Let me show you some examples now of how the focal length is related to the field of view. And in all of these pictures, I was standing in the exact same spot to take the photo, and all I was changing was the focal length. And you'll see how the focal length affects how much the subject is magnified. All right, here I'm zoomed right into 300 millimeters, so my subject is quite magnified. This one is taken at 70 millimeters, so you can see a little bit more of the surroundings. Now here, I've zoomed out a bit more to 35 millimeters. Now remember, I'm not moving my feet here, just changing focal lengths. Finally, here's a really wide angle shot, taken at 16 millimeters. A zoom lens allows you to vary your focal length within a given range. So I was using two different zoom lenses for the pictures that you just saw. I had one with a range from 16 to 35 millimeters and another from 70 to 300 millimeters. And I was taking shots at the extremes of each lens. The other kind of lens has a fixed focal length. It's also known as a prime lens. And in that case, the focal length doesn't change at all. Now, just because you have a zoom lens doesn't mean that you don't need to move your feet. Because I stood in the same place for each of the shots that you just saw, my perspective didn't change. However, if I move my camera position for each image so that I fill the frame with the same subject every time, then my perspective does change. And in that case, and in the examples I'm about to show you, you'll see that a wide-angle lens exaggerates the sense of depth, and a telephoto lens compresses distance. Let's take a look. All right, let's start again with a shot taken with a focal length of 300 millimeters. Notice the two signs, one at each edge of the frame. For all my shots, I'll keep the signs at the left and the right so that the same subject matter fills the frame each time. Also, take note of the relative size of that white truck and the stop sign. Now to get this shot, I'm standing way down the street, far away from the stop sign. Okay, here's the shot where I'm zoomed out a little bit at 70 millimeters. Now here I am at 35 millimeters. For each of these shots, remember, I had to walk further down the street and I'm getting closer and closer to the signs. All right, this final shot was taken at a focal length of 16 millimeters. By the time I took this shot, I was standing almost in between the signs. Notice how the distance is much more exaggerated here. The perspective has changed in each shot, and the impression of depth is increased as the angle of view gets wider. That's because the relative sizes of the objects within the frame change. Look at the truck, it's now tiny compared to the stop sign. That gives you the feeling of depth. Okay, I think that's enough for today. Next time, I'll talk more about lenses, including the maximum aperture and glass quality. In the meantime, come on over and visit me at ultimatephototips.com and make sure to sign up for my newsletter while you're there. That's where I share ideas and inspiration that I don't share anywhere else. Happy shooting, and I'll see you next time.